But before, okay, so let's go to the 1830s,
Okay.
because then things started changing. Everything was the same until then. About the 1830s, 1840s, the British came with steamships. Now, prior to that, these big, long-masted British gunships could not chase down the pirate ships because they were longboats with oars, right? And flatter and fast boats. And they would see these long-masted British ships coming from a mile off, and they would take off into the islands, and these ships can't follow in amongst all the island. They'd live on, you had the boat people, the Malay fishing people live.
Yeah,
So they were safe.
and that would be on the west coast as they're coming.
Well,
in.
anywhere on there's islands all down the west coast.
Are you talking Andaman Islands or getting like closer, like Somalian and?
Yeah, it was similar. There's islands all down this coast, right? So, and all the riverine bays and stuff. So they couldn't control the piracy. But once they got steamships, and often it's becalmed out there, and at which point the Malay pirates could come with 60 ships and attack a foreign ship. They could take them because they would come up behind under the rudder, jam their rudder when it's becalmed in the mornings. You're not moving, and you can't get your access to them with your cannons. And then they just come on board and take, a trading ship, let's say it's got 20 people on it, right? Of which 3 would be foreigners and the rest would be Indian trained sailors. The Malays would just take everyone as pirates, take everything. So, but they tended not to attack European ships because they usually used the cannons. So as soon as the British Navy got 4 or 5 steamships here, they just went and trashed all the pirates' bases. They went in with sepoys, Indian sepoys. There's a great story off the end of Koh Lanta where the first time this guy, he had smoke coming out and no mast. So the pirates saw him off Lanta. Lanta was a big pirate base, Koh Lanta. And they brought a flotilla of like 5 or 6 longboats with 40 people on them, a significant force, and saying, look, there's a foreign ship, it's in trouble, it's on fire. And they didn't figure out that it was going against the wind, right? So as they came up, he just goes, oh, here they come. He just turns broadside and just blows them out the water, right? And
they don't realize it's actually the steam of the ship.
Yeah, I mean, it was coal-fired,
Yeah. Because they've never seen it before.
They'd never seen it, right? And then they bring these metal gunships. So suddenly piracy disappeared. Now you can do commerce. Now the Chinese from Penang, where they were trading and doing tin mining, they started moving up here to Phuket.
So just to step it back, I didn't fully understand that part. The steamships from the British, is it because of the technology? Is it the speed? Specifically, why was it the steamships that allowed them to kick out the pirates?
Because they couldn't catch them in the big British gunships.
Got you.
And if they went in a smaller ship, they'd be overwhelmed. So, if you were being chased and you were in a skiff, right? And let's say a boat of 40 meters, they would have a thatch hut on the back. They probably have slaves down there. They had rowing slaves, sometimes 2 rows of oars. They had their sail. They could outrun a British ship. And then they go, let's say, cut in behind the under the bridge, and then they get into Phang Nga Bay. And how are you going to find them, right? You can't. So they could just get away. Then they'd go and raid Phang Nga town and steal all the slaves and go. So the British couldn't stop them they could, when they did encounter them, they beat them. But with the steamship, you catch them up, it goes faster, you blow them out the water.
Yeah.
And then you take that steamship to the nest of the pirates or wherever the Malays were saying, and you just kill them all, right?
Yeah.
And he say, if you want to do piracy, as the one naval boss here, he said, we've got to make every pirate feel like he's sitting on a barrel of gunpowder with a lighted match, right? And so when the piracy went away, suddenly people could come up here and trade, and so the Chinese started coming up here and saying, right, we'll do tin mining. So the only way into the middle up to Katu was up the Klong Bang Yai, it's called, which is the Klong that starts in Sapan Hin and goes all the way through Phuket town and goes up into the golf courses there in it crosses by the hospital, it crosses by Tesco and goes all the way up to Katu. That was the main highway into the island.